Our thoughts on a new era in Tech basketball, baseball's new slide rule, do we agree with it? Our final thoughts on the historic career of Kobe Bryant, and which matchups are we looking forward to this upcoming NFL season? Find out next. MCTV Sports 101 starts now.
Welcome to MCTV Sports 101. I'm Becca Chance, joined as always by Cal Stafford and Billy Ingle.
Hey, Becca.
Hey.
We've got a packed show, so let's get started. Before the season began, the MLB implemented a new slide rule to protect infielders from running trying to break up double plays. How do you guys feel about the new rule?
I gotta be honest, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, the safety of players, it's what's important. You know, we're moving to this new age, this new generation of player safety and whatnot.
A little softer.
I mean, I gotta be honest, like, this baseball's not really a contact sport.
No.
And you're gonna take the little contact that you have out of the game. I mean, this is a big rule, not just for player safety and whatnot, but I mean, just sliding into second base and not being able to stand up and go in on second base, running as fast as you possibly can. It's hard to stop on a dime like that, especially with metal spikes.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I understand the rule in a way to protect players. Obviously, what happened between Chase Utley and Ruben Tejada in the NLDS last year, that was a gruesome injury. You know, you don't want those type of injuries, but it's baseball. That's been the way it's been played for as long as I can remember, all the way back to before I was born. I mean, I don't know why you want to change things. I understand you want to protect players. I'm okay with that. But, I mean, when you're a player, I mean, once they get used to it, I don't think it will be a problem.
No.
But it's already affected 2 games this season. I know it's early in the year, but, hey, a loss is a loss, and that can really impact the game. I mean, my Houston Astros lost on it. So, you know, I have some problems with the rule.
No, I have some huge problems with it. I mean, you're just going to see a lot of the mentality of players going into second and third base. It's just going to be completely different.
Not as tough.
It's not. And, you know, whenever the playoffs come around, whenever you need those every run matters, like, it's going to get nitty and gritty, and you're going to see a lot of these plays come up, and I just think it's going to be really controversial going down the stretch.
Yeah, and, you know, I think it's kind of the same thing when they changed the play at home plate where you're not allowed to have contact anymore, and that was to protect players as well there, too. I think once people get adjusted to it, it'll be fine, but we'll kind of see. It'll take probably the whole season to figure out how it's going to go. So, yeah.
Becca, do you feel like the MLB got this new rule change right with the sliding?
I'm up in the air about it. I definitely see it creating a more urgency and competitiveness at the plate, but I also see a lot more injuries happening from it, from guys trying to avoid contact with the field players and actually having more self-inflicting injuries. Last Wednesday, one of the most historic NBA careers came to an end as Kobe Bryant called it quits after 20 incredible seasons. What are your guys' final thoughts on his career?
Well, I think he's one of the best ever to play the game. I mean, you don't throw paper and say Kobe for, no reason. I mean, he's one of the best. I mean, you look at he finished with 25 points per game in his career. He's got 5 championships. I think you put him up there with Michael Jordan. Obviously I didn't really grow up watching Michael Jordan, so I can't really say he's better than him. But I think he's up there. I mean, he's a great defender. He's a great offensive guy. Maybe has some problems with the team. But,
I mean, the problems with his team, but see, one thing that Kobe brings to the table that not any other competitor does is his level of passion for the game.
Definitely.
His will to win is greater than anyone else's that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And just going down the line, thinking of some of my favorite Kobe moments, like I'll never forget in the mid-2000s, late 2000s, the Suns, the Mavericks, and the Lakers.
That was a good series.
Those 3 series just going after each other year after year.
Boston.
I mean, Boston, too, in the NBA Finals. These are just all great memories that I'm going to have of Kobe Bryant. Not towards his later of his career, whenever he's throwing up a lot of bricks.
The 60 points was pretty good to go out and
even
like
then with that 60 points, you could still see his sluggish.
Took 50 shots to get there. I mean,
exactly, And what I used to miss about Kobe Bryant is back in the days when he playing with Shaq, and they were just throwing the ball up to each other like crazy, getting to the rim and attacking. That was some real fun basketball to watch.
Well, I think my favorite moment was in 02 and 03 against the Nuggets when he had the behind-the-back reverse dunk in transition.
Yes.
I think that was one of the best ones that he had. He was a great dunker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Becca, what was your favorite Kobe moment?
I would have to say my favorite Kobe moment was in 2006 when they played the Raptors, and he scored 81 points in one game. He brought back the Lakers from a 14-point deficit at halftime and turned it into an 18-point victory for the Lakers. So I thought that was an incredible moment for him. Well, guys, they did it. The Golden State Warriors surpassed the 95-96 Chicago Bulls record of 72 wins with a 21-point win over the Memphis Grizzlies last Wednesday, with a final record of 73-9. Do you guys think this was one of the greatest regular seasons ever?
I mean, the record speaks for itself.
I think it does.
Yeah, I think this is possible. I think this is the greatest regular season team that we've ever seen play the game.
Yeah.
And I've been saying it throughout the entire season. I've been telling everybody as we watch these games where Golden State's blowing these people out, Steph Curry's shooting these crazy threes.
Good teams out too.
Good teams. And the games that they lost were typically against teams that were under par.
Yeah.
That that they were an afterthought
play down
for
to
the
your
Warriors.
level.
Exactly. But it's amazing to see what they've done. Just from beginning to end, they didn't stop. A quote that Steve Kerr came out with saying, it was the same way with the Bulls, the 95-96 Bulls. They would lose one game, they would get mad, and then they would win 10.
Yeah.
And that mentality, just to watch it throughout the season, I thought it was remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously compare them to the 95-96 Bulls. That's the record they broke. You're first in the league in points per game, first in the league in assists. Yeah, their defensive numbers might not be great, but they're a better defense team than the numbers say. Mm-hmm. I think definitely if they win a championship, I think they're definitely the best one. But you look at some of the injuries they've had this year. I mean, Curry missed a couple games. Iguodala, Zealy, Harrison Barnes, Andrew Bogut. I mean, a lot of those guys missed time, and they were still able to find ways to win, get to 73 wins. I like the mentality. We'll see how they finish in the playoffs, but I think definitely it's going to go down as probably one of the best there ever was. So
yeah. Becca, were you surprised that the Warriors beat the 95-96 Bulls record?
Oh, not at all. They've been consistent all year long, and after last championship, every player on the team has stepped up individually, and I think that's why they made that bold claim halfway through the season and said that they're aiming for that new record. And they went into the season with high expectations for themselves and as a team, and I think that's why you saw them break the record this year. Last Thursday, Tubby Smith bolted to Memphis to take over the head coaching position for the Tigers. A day later, the Red Raiders hired Chris Beard away from the UNLV Runnin' Rebels to take over the vacancy. Guys, how do you feel about the new hire?
Well, I'm excited about the new hire. I mean, I definitely am. I like Chris Beard.
I'm upset with the loss of Tubby, but I am excited about the new hire.
You know, I like Tubby Smith, but if you don't want to be here, and you want to be somewhere else,
we don't want you.
I mean,
get out.
This is a passionate fan base. We want to win. That's what we want here. And he brought winning back to Texas Tech, so I'm thankful for that. He left the program in a better place than it was when he came in.
No disrespect.
I mean, he's a great coach, and I'm sure Memphis will be great in the upcoming years. But look, Chris Beard has a career record of 171-50. He finished 30-5 at his first season at Little Rock in the overtime win against Purdue in the NCAA tournament. So this guy's proven winner. He was at Tech for 10 seasons under Bob Knight and Pat Knight. So he's got a great coaching history, and he knows Texas Tech. He wants to be here. He knows how to recruit out here. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. And I mean, we got 8 guys returning from last year's team that made impactful, on the season. So
what I'm excited to see is the development of these guys.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot of young players coming up that are coming back this year. Some players like Justin Gray. I want to see him develop more as a shooter.
I'm excited to see what he can do next
I want to
year.
see if he can develop his post game possibly a little bit.
Yeah.
Aaron Ross, that low block turnaround jumper that he was working on all year. Mm-hmm. He was very slightly consistent with it, but I want to see him get better at that.
And his threes improved as well as the year went on too.
Everybody all around has became better shooters, and because I don't think that defensively we're going to struggle that much.
No.
But I think where we just as we were throughout the season, offensively is where we struggle to find shots.
Gonna have to grind out wins.
We are going to have to grind out wins, and I hope, and I think that we can do that. It's just going to be questionable to see how the team develops along with the absence of Tubby Smith and the addition of Chris Beard.
Well, I think they're angry. I mean, if you've seen some of the tweets, maybe some of the players have put out, I think they were a little shocked that Tubby Smith left. I think the whole country was a little shocked that Tubby Smith left. But maybe they'll put a fire in him. Maybe they'll come out, and Chris Beard, he's going to bring fire to the program. He broke his hand punching a whiteboard in the postseason. So I'm excited. I think Tech's in store for good things. I think we're in good position, and I think Tech's going to make a deep run next year. Becca, did you like the hire of Chris Beard?
Yes, I did, and I think he's excited about coming here. He just committed to University of Nevada, Las Vegas just a week ago, and he's already running back to Tech. He was a former assistant coach here at Tech, so he knows the school, he knows the program, and I think he's going to be a great addition again to the Texas Tech men's basketball team. Last week, the NFL released the 2016-2017 schedule for all 32 teams. Guys, which matchups intrigue you the most of this upcoming season?
Well, opening day, you've got the Denver Broncos and the Carolina Panthers.
I think that's
going to be a great game, but not so more as competitive-wise. We want to see what the Denver Broncos can do with the absence of Peyton Manning and see how they come along.
Who's going to be their quarterback?
But a big game I want to jump to, actually, is in Week 13, Carolina versus Seattle. This is towards the end of the season. This is whenever games are starting to become more meaningful. Playoff time's rolling around. And I want to see, because these are two contenders that have been for the last couple of years. Carolina, they're hungry to get back to the Super Bowl, as well as Seattle with Russell Wilson trying to get his second championship. So I'm excited for those games.
Yeah, I look at Seattle and New England in Week 10, a rematch of the previous 2 years ago Super Bowl. So I'm interested to see how that game's going to play out. I like the Broncos at Kansas City on Christmas Day, Week 17. That could really be impactful for the playoffs. Also, Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Vontaze Burfict, those guys, that's going to be his first game against them. So I think that's going to be big. And obviously, I'm a Texans fan, so the Houston at the Denver Broncos. I want to see how Brock Osweiler does in his return there. So it should be a great NFL season.
I think it will. Becca, what NFL games do you look forward to seeing this fall?
I'm looking forward most to the Panthers and Broncos game in Week 1. I'm looking forward to see how the Panthers come back after losing to the Broncos in the 2016 Super Bowl, and also how to see how the Broncos come back as a team with losing Peyton Manning in his retirement this year. With the NHL playoffs in full swing, guys, who do you have winning it all?
Well, I'm not the biggest hockey guy, so I wouldn't trust my answer very well, but I'm going to go with Chicago Blackhawks. I mean, they've won 3 of the last 6 there is, or, the LA Kings have been there as well, too. But I like the Blackhawks. I think they're a team that they know how to win, and they know how to win championships.
They do know how to win, but, right now I'm just going to take it a little bit biased. I'm going to go with my Dallas Stars. We've been playing great all year. I mean, obviously, we're not the only ones out there that could be winners. You've got the Washington Capitals right now with Alex Ovechkin.
Very talented team.
He's playing great right now. And what I'm interested to see, actually, is that they're up right now 3-0 on the Flyers. And can Alex Ovechkin get that monkey off his back? For years now, they've been saying that, he's one of the best regular season players, but, he can't win in the playoffs. So I'm interested to see if he can actually take this Capitals team farther. And he hasn't. But, and also the Dallas Stars right now, they're struggling a little bit last game playing the Minnesota Wild. They weren't getting as many goals and many looks in front of the net. But I think with going forward, as long as we can get back on our toes with this next game, go up 3-1, we got a good shot going forward.
Yeah, it should be a good postseason in the NHL. Becca, who do you have bringing home the Stanley Cup?
I have the Washington Capitals bringing home the Stanley Cup. They have 56 wins this season, and they just won the President's Trophy on Monday with a 4-1 victory over the Columbus Blue Jackets. So I see them going and winning it all, especially with the competition that they're facing now. I see them coming up on top. Tech Baseball is off to a 11-1 start in conference play and has been rolling through the past couple of months. Guys, just how far can the Red Raiders go this season?
Well, I mean, I think the sky's the limit, obviously. Yeah. We all know what the ultimate goal is. We want to get back to the College World Series where we have been 2 years ago, I believe it was. Yeah. And so right now, what we're doing is, gosh, man, we are hitting the ball.
Sure are. And pitching.
I mean, we're pitching great. But right now, over the last this 10-game win streak that we have going on right now, we're averaging 9.1 runs per game. And, I mean, that's quite a bit in baseball. Yeah. So, and another thing, we got Tanner Gardner is leading this team in batting average, almost batting 400% over over this season. And so right now, these guys are standing out to me, and I think that we could go as far as we want to take us.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the upperclassmen here. Steven Smith, he's got 8 homers, 32 RBIs, while hitting well over 300. Eric Gutierrez, he's got 7 homers and 37 RBIs.
We actually have 5 players right now that have 5+ home runs on the year, and I think.
I mean, they're really playing talent. They got a good series coming up against Texas. I mean, Texas is a little down this year, but it'd be interesting to see how they play against their in-state rivals. They're pitching 3.76 team ERA this season. I think the College World Series is the limit for these guys, and I think they got a great chance to win.
I think we do too. Well, thanks for joining us again this week, Becca.
Yeah, it's glad to have you with us again.
Definitely. I'm looking forward to next week's episode.
Well, that's our show for this week's edition of MCTV Sports 101. Join us next week for the latest big-name stories in sports. For Becca Chance, I'm Kyle Stafford.
And I'm Billy Ingle. Till next time.